Hey guys, it's Marta. Welcome to November garden. As you can see, there are hundreds, thousands, millions of leaves from the birch trees in our garden. And I'll be talking today about the garden jobs you can do in your garden in November. Let's begin. I live in a garden with very old birch trees and we have several of them. So in October, November, even December, we are having loads of leaves falling on our lawn and everywhere in our garden. So this is my main thing I'm doing in November. First of all, I'm mowing my lawn, but it's not really mowing. I'm just collecting all of the leaves that I can with a mower, and then I come back and I start raking all of the left ones. And I do that every few days because this is a never-ending story. With your borders, it's fine if the leaves are there, but with your lawn, it's very important to collect all of the leaves because you might get some fungal disease, and it's better for the lawn not to be covered with the leaves. There are also a lot of leaves in my borders, and if I have borders with my roses, I try to collect as many fallen leaves from the roses, especially those with a black spot, so they are not going into the soil, they will not make the disease spread. So all of those leaves are collected. This is not an easy job because you have to do it on your knees with the long sleeves, not to be, get in contact with the roses. And I'm trying to take all of those fallen leaves and I put them away, I throw them away, I don't compost them. It makes my roses healthier. And this is the thing I do. I don't spray my roses for fungal diseases. I just think the hygiene is the most important, so I'm cleaning all of those leaves and I think it makes them healthier during the year. Okay, so when you have that amount of leaves, what can you do with those? You can of course compost them, and I do that with some of them, but with some of them I do leaf mold. This is a very easy task to do. I think I will show you in the next video, but you just put them in a plastic bag, you make some holes in it, you take as many leaves as possible. When I do it with a lawn mower, it also shreds some of them, so the process is faster. And I make sure that they are a bit wet. I put as many of them as I can in the plastic bag. I use the big ones and I just pack them and put them away somewhere for a few months, even up to a year. And then I have a beautiful leaf mold. This is a perfect addition to your soil, especially for the plants that like lighter soil. It is not as potent as compost, but it is a beautiful addition to your borders. What else can you do in November? I do a lot of shearing down of my perennials. After the first frost, I'm cutting off the leaves of a lot of my perennials. Why do I do that? You don't have to do it in November, you can do it in spring. But in spring there is so much work in the garden that a few years ago I started doing that, and the process of my getting the garden ready for spring is so much easier for me. So a lot of my older perennials like catmint, salvias, phlox, I'm cutting those almost to the ground, and they are surviving very, very well, and I have less jobs to do. Also, sorry, there was a fly flying towards you. Also, when I'm cutting a huge perennial like catmint, I can dig some bulbs near. If there is foliage, this is very difficult to do. So I've been doing that for a few years, and I think this is a good thing for me. Of course, you don't have to do it, but be careful with young perennials. If you've planted something this year and it has not rooted properly, then I would leave the foliage for the winter. It's always easier for those plants to survive the winter, and just cut those in spring. Next job that I've just done this past week, I should have done it in October, but I didn't have the time. This is the pruning of very high roses stems. If you leave your roses very, very high, so they are like 2.5 meters long, this can cause windrock. They are just moving in the wind, and sometimes it can cause the roots to be not as well established in the soil. This will move the roots, and this is not good for your roses. So I'm just trimming some of the stems. Of course, I'm leaving a bit of the stem. I will be pruning back in spring, but this will definitely make the rose more steady in the ground and not rocking in the wind. But what is the most pleasant job to do in November? For me, this is bulb planting. Every year I'm planting bulbs from crocus to hyacinths, narcissus, tulips, alliums. I love that. Sometimes it can be quite boring if you're doing hundreds of them and it seems like you're in a loop. But I always think about the impact this will make in spring. It's just magic. You just put something in the ground and in spring this will be such an amazing show. Let's go and I'll show you how many bulbs I still have to plant. I was wondering if there is a word that says something about someone who is a bit crazy about bulb planting. Bulbholic? What do you think? How it should be called? So every year I tell myself I will not be planting as many bulbs as the year before, and then I start and then I go to a shop, and I went a few days ago just to buy those beautiful chrysanthemums, and then I got lost in the aisle with bulbs, and I brought some this one lily-shaped Sapporo I really love, and I think I'll be planting that near my hydrangeas. This is a big bag of angelique bulbs, the peony-shaped pink beautiful tulip that I'll be planting in my big containers in my terrace. There's a lot of them. I think I'm not a normal person, but when you get out of the house after the winter and you see all of those bulbs emerging and then blooming, I always think it was worth it. I haven't shown you what I've changed next to my entryway. Let's talk about that. So the supertunias were here and they were looking really ugly, so I've removed them and I put some chrysanthemums here. They are beautiful dusty pink. I really love this color with a beautiful orangey yellow inside, really pretty. And here in this container I've added a new miscanthus. This is a new one from a place that sent it to me to test it out. It's called, I think, Lady in Red. Beautiful red leaves. I think it will be very, very pretty, but we'll be testing that first in the container and then I will put it in a border. And I've changed some of the display here. The pink bell the pink bell heather got a bit that I had here after the first frost. The flowers became brown, so I put a new one here and also some classic heather in pink, and it's looking so much better. Also, I have changed the wreath. This wreath is made of faux plants and this is my friend is doing then, and I bought it from her. I've had one 2 years ago. This is good for those cold months because the one that I had from hydrangeas started to become brown, and this happens when it's cold and you get a lot of sun. And this one will be here during the November weeks and it will give us a lot of color. And then at the beginning of December I'll be adding a wreath for Christmas. Next jobs to be done in November. If you have any fountains or any spaces that you have water in, it's good to remove all of that water, maybe put some burlap in so it doesn't freeze. Also, if you have a sprinkler system in your garden, it's good to remove all of the water from the system with compressed air. It's not good to leave it for the winter. I've done it a few times and then you'll have some of your pipes broken. So remember to do that. If you have a plant in a pot, is it possible to still plant it in the garden in November? I get a lot of questions like that. I think it's always better for a plant to be in the ground and not in a tiny pot. if the winter comes, all of the frost, it's always better for the plant to be in the garden. So if you have anything in your pot, please put it in the ground, even in November. But if you're thinking about moving one plant from your garden and moving it to another space, or dividing perennials, whatever, this is depending on where you live. Just think about how does your November look like. If it's warm and you can expect still about 5 to 6 weeks of warm weather and not having the ground frozen, I think it's still a fine time to move your plant from one place to another, or to divide your perennials. But if you have the situation that your ground will be frozen in 2 weeks' time, it's better to wait until spring. Another great idea for November. Get a notebook or your phone with the Notes app and go through your garden. With every border, stop for a minute and think what happened in this border. Were you happy with the plants? Were they fine composition-wise? Did you like this border in spring, in summer, in the autumn? What would you change now if you were to do it? Think about what happened with the pests, what happened with any disease, which plant was sick, which didn't perform well. If we go border by border, you will get ideas what you can do next year to this border so it looks better, is healthier. Our memory can be tricky, from my experience. As I'm getting older, I think I will remember everything, but then I don't. So when I do all of my notes, then I know what I can do better next year. If a plant was sick, I will remember to come in spring and to spray it accordingly so I don't get that problem. If I'm missing some color, maybe in autumn, maybe in spring, I can do something to this border so it looks better. And just also think about, was this border making me work a lot? Maybe I can change something to make it easier. Maybe I will need something else to help me with this burden. Was it a burden? Was it a fun border? This is a good thing to recollect all of your memories, think what you can do better, and next year you will be armed with your beautiful notes and your garden can be even better. Please let me know in the comments if you do this kind of notes. Do you think about what you can change in the garden, or you're like a person that goes into the garden and is like, today I will do this? Or do you like to go and make a process out of it? And please let me know, what are you doing in November in your gardens, and what is the weather like in your country, in your garden? I'm always amazed how many people here are watching me from different countries. So for some of you it might be spring in the moment, so that's always fun to hear from you and to listen to what is happening in different parts of the world in your gardens. If you like today's video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.